Look around you. Most people you know operate the same way. They see a problem and they push against it. They meet resistance and they push harder. They face something they do not understand and they attack it with force. They call this determination. They call this being strong. But it is actually the slowest, most predictable way to move through life. There is another kind of mind, a mind that does not push, a mind that watches, waits, and slips through openings other people cannot even see. A mind that avoids the fight instead of winning it because it saw the fight coming before anyone else did. That is the mind of a fox. And in a world full of people who behave like slow lions, this mind quietly wins almost every battle it enters. 500 years ago, Machiavelli described this exact contrast in one of the sharpest observations ever written about human survival. He noted that the lion cannot see the trap, and the fox cannot fight off the wolves. So a wise person must learn to be both, cunning enough to see danger and strong enough to escape it. Almost everyone you know has learned only one half of that lesson. They have learned to be lions. Loud, forceful, direct. They have never learned to be foxes, and that missing half is where their power quietly leaks. The people who move through life quietly winning are not smarter in the way we usually think about intelligence. They do not have more information. They do not work harder. They simply see more of the game. They notice the trap before they step in it. They read the room before they speak. They move when others are still deciding. And by the time slow lions realize what happened, the fox is already gone with what mattered. In this video, you will learn 6 principles that separate a fox mind from a slow lion mind. These are not tricks. They are the mental architecture that lets you see, move, and adapt faster than the average person around you. If you apply even 3 of these, you will start noticing patterns in your daily life that you have been missing for years. Before we begin, drop this statement in the comments. I move quietly and see clearly. Let's go. Number 1. See the trap before you walk into it. Try this. Think back to the last time you got badly hurt by something you agreed to. A deal that fell apart. A person who turned on you. A situation that seemed good and then wasn't. Now, honestly, were the warning signs there before you walked in? Almost always, the answer is yes. This is the first thing that separates a fox mind from a slow lion mind. Slow lions look at the target. Foxes look at the ground between here and the target. The lion sees the reward and moves. The fox sees the space around the reward and asks what is not being shown. Most traps in life are not hidden at all. They are visible. They are simply not looked at. Someone offers you an unusually generous deal. Someone becomes suddenly interested in your work at a strange moment. Someone praises a decision you have not yet made. Each of these is a signal. Each is asking you to slow down before you commit. Slow lions ignore these signals because their eyes are locked on the reward. Foxes catch them instantly. Here is the specific mental posture that changes everything. The lion asks, "What do I want here?" The fox asks, "What is happening here?" One question drives you toward the goal. The other question studies the environment first, and the environment is where the traps live. Machiavelli warned that a person who studies only the target will be caught by the ground. He advised that a wise person spends the first minutes of any new situation reading the setting, not chasing the outcome, because targets can be reached through many routes, but traps only reveal themselves to those who look for them. This is not paranoia, it is preparation. There is a real difference between the two. Paranoia sees threats where none exist. Preparation notices patterns that are already there. The fox is not afraid. The fox is watchful, and that watchfulness is a trained skill, not a personality trait. Here is how you train it. Before you enter any new situation, a job offer, a deal, a relationship, a partnership, give yourself 2 minutes to answer 3 questions. What feels slightly off about this? What would make this too good to be true? Who else benefits if I say yes without thinking? These 3 questions will not slow you down. They will save you from most of the recovery time you would have spent later untangling from decisions you made too fast. And once the habit is built, it becomes automatic. You will start seeing signs everywhere, not with fear, with clarity. The traps you catch early are the ones that never touch you, and the quiet advantage you build by avoiding what other people fall into never shows on any measurement. Nobody applauds you for the losses you did not take, but over years, they compound into a life the slow lion cannot understand. The trap you see is the trap you never step in. Number 2. Move quietly until you must move fast. Announcement is expensive. That is the whole rule. Most people cannot feel the price of announcing a plan because they never see what it costs. But every plan you describe out loud is a plan that has partially left your control. Someone now knows that someone can prepare, resist, warn others, or quietly work against you. The plan lost power the moment it became public. Slow lions do not understand this. They tell people what they are about to do. They post their goals. They discuss their plans in detail. They warn opponents. They believe this is confidence. It is not. It is a slow leak of every advantage they had before they opened their mouth. Watch the people around you who quietly succeed. Notice how little they said in advance. They did not tease their next step. They did not post their process. They did not tell you what was coming. Then the result appeared, seemingly out of nowhere. But it was not out of nowhere. It was months of quiet build that you did not get to see. That build was silent on purpose. Here is what the quiet person actually understands. Silence during the build phase is not modesty, it is protection. Not everyone around you is rooting for you. Some are neutral. Some are quietly hoping you fail so they can feel better about themselves. Some will actively work against you if they realize you are gaining ground. Silence removes their opportunity to interfere before the move is complete. There is a piece of Machiavelli's insight that fits directly here. He observed that plans, described in advance, almost always invite resistance at every stage, because everyone with an interest in the outcome now has time to prepare. The plans that go through untouched are the ones that were never described until they were finished. The urge to announce is the trap most people fall into. It feels like sharing. It feels like accountability. It feels like commitment. All of these are ways your brain rationalizes leaking your advantage. Real commitment is shown in what you do, not what you say you will do. Try a small experiment this week. Pick one thing you want to accomplish. Do not tell anyone about it. Not friends, not family, not the person you usually tell everything. Work on it silently for the entire week. Notice how much lighter it feels. Notice how much easier it is to change direction if needed. Notice how the pressure of other people's expectations disappears. That lightness is what silence gives you. The fox moves fast at the end because it moved slowly and quietly at the beginning. The speed at the finish is only possible because of the patience at the start. Slow lions confuse motion with progress. Foxes know the difference between building and performing. Silent preparation, sudden movement, that is the rhythm the world cannot defend against. Now that you know what silence buys you on your side, here is what it opens up for you on the other side of the table. Number 3. Read what people leave unsaid. Words are the smallest part of any conversation. If you only listen to the actual sentences someone speaks, you are catching maybe 20% of what is being communicated. The other 80% is happening in tone, pause, word choice, what gets emphasized, what gets skipped, what gets softened, and what gets avoided entirely. Slow lions hear only the sentences. Foxes hear all of it. Here is what happens in most conversations. Someone answers a question, but before they answer, there is a pause, a fraction of a second. Then they choose specific words. They emphasize certain ones. They skip other things they could have said. They redirect to a slightly different topic. All of this happens in under 3 seconds, and most people miss it entirely because they are already preparing their next thing to say. The fox catches the pause. The fox notices what was almost said and then wasn't. The fox tracks which topics get consistently avoided and which get repeatedly volunteered. This is not a supernatural skill. It is the skill of listening with your whole attention instead of half of it. Watch for these signals in your next few conversations. The compliment that arrives right before a request. The subject change that happens whenever a specific topic comes up. The overly quick agreement to something someone actually disagrees with. The reassurance offered before anyone asked for it. Each of these tells you something the words alone would never reveal. Machiavelli built his entire understanding of people on this exact skill. He noticed that people rarely state their real motives directly, so he watched what they did instead. He watched what they emphasized. He watched what they avoided. And in that watching, he understood their real position long before they were ready to state it. That is what made his observations feel dangerous to the people he studied. He was reading the space between their sentences. Ask yourself something honest. When was the last time you were surprised by someone you thought you knew? Someone whose real intentions turned out to be completely different from what they had been saying. In almost every case, the signs were there. The tone shifted at certain moments. The eye contact broke at specific words. The reassurance came a little too fast. Slow lions heard the words and moved forward. Foxes would have caught the second layer immediately. Train this deliberately. In your next low-stakes conversation, do one thing differently. Notice how long each answer takes. Notice what the person chose not to mention. Notice how their voice changed on specific words. You will start hearing 2 conversations at once, the spoken one and the actual one. And the actual one is almost always the more useful of the 2. Once you develop this, you cannot turn it off. Every meeting becomes richer. Every negotiation gives you more information. Every relationship becomes clearer. You start noticing when someone is holding something back. You start noticing when someone is preparing to move against you, and you get to move first. The truth of any conversation lives in the pause, not the sentence. Number 4, never fight when you can outmaneuver. Every fight has a price you do not see until later. Slow lions never do this math. They look at the fight in front of them and calculate only whether they can win it. They do not calculate what winning will cost them. Time, energy, reputation, allies, focus, momentum. All of these get spent in a fight, even the fights you win, especially the fights you win, because winning still leaves marks. Winning still creates enemies. Winning still exhausts you in ways that matter later. A fox mind runs a different calculation before entering any conflict. It asks whether the same outcome could be reached without the fight happening at all, whether the opponent could be sidestepped instead of defeated, whether the resistance could be routed around instead of pushed through. Almost always, the answer is yes, and that answer changes everything about what happens next. Here is the specific reframe most people never make. Winning a fight is not the same as achieving your goal. Sometimes you can achieve the goal without the fight ever taking place. Sometimes the smartest move is to reposition so the confrontation becomes unnecessary. Sometimes the strongest position is one your opponent never realized existed. These are not weaker options. They are more elegant ones, and elegance is efficiency. Consider how many paths exist around any confrontation. Timing is one. Wait until the opponent's leverage weakens or your position strengthens. Repositioning is another. Change the ground so the fight would no longer favor them. Redirection is another. Let the opponent's energy exhaust itself against something that costs you nothing to hold. Alliances are another. Bring in a party that makes the fight either unwinnable or unnecessary for them. Slow lions never consider these paths because they equate confrontation with courage. Foxes see all of them at once. Look at the last 3 big conflicts in your life. Really look at them. Were all of them necessary, or were at least some of them avoidable if you had moved differently, waited a little longer, or repositioned first? Most people can find at least one conflict that cost them months of life and could have been sidestepped entirely with a slightly wiser move. That fight was not lost because of weakness. It was lost because it was entered when it did not need to be. There is a piece of Machiavelli's writing that fits this exactly. He noted that many battles are won without ever being fought, because the person who was going to lose realized it before the fighting started and chose a different route. This was not cowardice in his view. It was intelligence. The wise person understands that force is one tool, not the default tool, and that saving force for moments when it is genuinely required is what makes it powerful when finally used. The fox does not avoid confrontation out of fear. The fox avoids it because the fox has counted the cost and found a cheaper way. And when the fox does fight, it fights knowing the alternatives were exhausted first. That knowledge is what makes the fight worth entering. Every avoided fight is an ally waiting for the fight that actually matters. Number 5. Disappear when winning is impossible. There is a feeling most people know but never name. It is the feeling of being stuck in something that will never work and yet unable to leave. A job, a relationship, a partnership, a project. A situation that has clearly turned against you, and yet the idea of walking away feels worse than the slow bleeding you are already accepting. So, you stay. And the situation takes more from you every month you refuse to move. Slow lions know this feeling well. They believe leaving is admitting defeat, so they stay. They double down. They pour more energy into a situation that has already turned. They hope that persistence alone will reverse the outcome. It rarely does, and by the time they finally accept that they should have left months earlier, the exit costs 10 times what it would have cost then. A fox mind carries a different belief. It treats retreat as a strategic option, not a moral failure. When the odds turn, the fox leaves, not loudly, not with drama, not with declarations. Just quietly, cleanly, before too much has been spent. This is not cowardice. It is the deepest form of intelligence available. Knowing when the game has stopped being worth playing. Here is the hard truth most people avoid. Not every situation can be won. Some environments were structured to grind you down no matter what you do. Some relationships will never return what you invest. Some jobs will never grow you, no matter how loyal you stay. Some partnerships will only take, never give. The fox recognizes these early and exits before too much is lost. The lion refuses to recognize them until leaving becomes catastrophic. The reason people cannot leave is almost never practical. It is emotional. They confuse leaving with failing. They confuse persistence with virtue. They think that if they just try a little harder, the situation will finally reward them. But persistence in the wrong direction is just a slower version of losing. Every day you continue pouring energy into something that has already turned is a day you are not building somewhere else. Machiavelli understood this pattern completely. He warned that a person who cannot distinguish between determination and stubbornness will lose more from the situations they refuse to leave than from the situations they lost outright. Sometimes the wisest move is to accept a small loss now to avoid a much larger one later. Staying in an unwinnable position does not prove strength, it only proves attachment. And attachment to lost causes is one of the most expensive habits any mind can hold. Ask yourself the question that unlocks this rule. Is there something in your life right now that you are staying in mostly because leaving would feel like failure? If yes, that feeling is the exact trap. Failure is not the exit. Failure is staying long enough for the situation to take everything from you before you finally leave anyway. Early exits are quiet. Late exits are catastrophic, and most people only understand the difference in hindsight. Practice small exits first. Leave a conversation that is going nowhere without over-explaining. End a subscription that has stopped serving you. Walk away from a task you were only doing to please someone. Each small exit builds the muscle for larger ones, because the ability to leave calmly is one of the most underestimated forms of power. It gives you back time, it gives you back energy, it gives you back options that staying was silently costing you. The exit taken early is a life you get to build. The exit taken late is the life the situation took from. Number 6. Adapt while others are still planning. Most people treat their plans like identities. They decide on a direction, commit to it publicly or internally, and then they cannot easily change it, because changing it would feel like admitting they were wrong. So they defend the plan long after it has stopped working. They twist reality to fit the plan instead of adjusting the plan to fit reality. And by the time they finally accept that the plan needs to change, they have lost weeks or months to a direction that was already obsolete. A fox mind treats plans differently. The plan was always just a starting hypothesis. If reality changes, the plan changes with reality. There is no ego attached to the direction. The direction was only ever a best guess based on the information available at the moment it was made. When new information arrives, the direction adjusts. This is not inconsistency, it is intelligence. Here is why most people cannot do this. Their identity is fused to their plan. Changing the plan feels like changing who they are, so they hold on. Meanwhile, the world keeps moving, markets shift, relationships evolve, opportunities appear and disappear. Rules that worked for decades stop working overnight. The person clinging to yesterday's plan is fighting the current of a river that has already changed direction. Watch how the world actually moves. It never stays still. Every industry shifts. Every relationship deepens or thins. Every environment presents new signals. The fox reads these signals constantly and updates its position, not dramatically, not every day, but steadily. Little adjustments, small course corrections. Enough that the fox is always roughly aligned with reality, never fighting it. The specific mental habit to build is this. Every week, ask yourself one question. What has changed in the last 7 days that my plan has not accounted for? If nothing, keep going. If something, adjust. That single question, asked consistently, keeps you aligned with reality instead of drifting further from it as time passes. This is where Machiavelli's most quoted insight becomes practical. He observed that fortune favors those who can change direction as quickly as fortune itself changes. Rigid people are broken by shifts. Flexible people are shaped by them. The same wave that drowns one person carries another forward, and the difference is almost never talent. It is the willingness to bend when bending is required. Notice something specific about the people you know who seem to always land well. They are not smarter than everyone else. They are not luckier. They simply do not stay committed to plans that have stopped making sense. They adjust, quietly, quickly, without announcement. And by the time slow lions realize the environment has changed, the fox has already positioned itself for what comes next. Practice this in small ways. Notice small changes in your environment. Notice when a friend's behavior shifts. Notice when a habit stops producing the result it used to. Then adjust immediately. Not next week, not after more research, now. Small adaptations, made often, build the muscle for large adaptations when they are needed. The plan is a starting point. Reality is the teacher. Update the plan every time the teacher gives you new material. 6 principles. 1 direction. Move like a fox in a world full of slow lions. See the trap before you step into it. Move quietly until you must move fast. Read what people leave unsaid. Never fight when you can outmaneuver. Disappear when winning is impossible. Adapt while others are still planning. The pattern underneath all 6 is the same. The fox does not overpower the world. It reads the world, moves through it with precision, and takes what matters without ever engaging in the loud, direct battles that slow lions burn their lives on. Force is expensive. Intelligence is efficient. And in every arena where the two meet, intelligence wins over time, even when force wins in the moment. Slow lions are not bad people. They are just untrained. They have been taught to push, to fight, to prove, to persist. And these are not useless tools. They are just incomplete. Without the fox mind added to them, they become predictable, exhausting, and easy to outmaneuver. The world is full of slow lions because society trains people to be that way. Being a fox is not the default. It is a deliberate choice. Machiavelli's central lesson was that the person who understands both the fox and the lion is the one who survives, not the one who is only strong, not the one who is only clever, the one who can be strong when force is required and clever when force would only reveal weakness. Most people are missing half of this. They are all lion, no fox. And their lives show it. In the fights they should not have entered, the plans they should have quit, the traps they walked straight into. Look at your last year with fox eyes. How many traps could you have seen? How many announcements should you have kept silent? How many fights could you have avoided? How many exits did you postpone? How many changes did you fail to adapt to? None of these are moral failures. They are simply mental habits, and every habit in this video can be trained if you decide to train it. Now, before you go, drop this final affirmation in the comments. I see clearly, move quietly, and adapt faster than anyone around me.